Hello, 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 beautiful unicorns. Welcome back to my weekly Get Your Shit Together weekly live guidance with myself, Yana Kasperczak. And as your certified professional performance and spiritual awakening core energy coach, it has been my soul's purpose to help women to help you get your shit together so you can break free from the mental prison you find yourself in and build a life, a business, and or a career that you are obsessed with. So today's topic that I wanted to cover and talk about, and one thing that you will notice is that now the topics that I cover on Thursdays are quite, um, they're fairly connected to the topics that we talk about and discuss in Heal the Unicorn podcast, which Anna and I will live stream into our Facebook group, Heal the Unicorn Emotional Healing and Spiritual Growth for Women. So that way you get the best of both worlds, as the phrase goes. And so you can listen to that podcast, you get some tips and tricks and golden nuggets there, and then you can listen to today's podcast as well to help you go even deeper in a way that is fiery and more spicy. So, because on my page I can talk in any way that I that I so choose. Not it's not that I don't in the group, is that here this is just me and you. And that's it. So most of you probably also noticed that the screen and the platform that I'm using looks a little bit different than usual because usually we use my phone. The royal we use the phone to do the live stream, but yesterday there was an unfortunate accident that involved one of my beautiful decorations, and therefore the phone is not entirely functioning right now. So I'll just get that out of the way before we go right into the topic, which you can already see and read. But here's my phone. This is what we will look like. There's a crack on top, and it cracked all the way through. So the screen is not even turning on, even though the phone itself is on. And this is the culprit. Um, One slipped and then the other one slipped right after when I decided I'm going to reorganize my desk. And this SOB decided to fall right on top of my phone, and even the corner is a little bit dented. So it was quite an ordeal. And yeah, so I'll leave it there. So for today, the topic that I wanted to talk to you all about and share and help you to go deeper into, what does it mean? What does it look like for you to live an obsessed life? That's my ultimate goal for every woman that I speak with, and especially every woman that I work with, is to help her become obsessed with her life and everything that is under the umbrella of life, including business, or a career, right? Which everything is rooted in the mind. This is where our roots are. This is where our programming is. And that's why for today, I want to talk about, who the hell are you? Let's find out. Do you know who you are? Do you really truly know who you are? What makes you you? What makes you unique? Do you know those things or not? Chances are, not so much so anymore, but there was a point in your life when you did. And there's a part of you right now that is yearning and wanting to go back to that version of you that knew who you were. But the thing is, and the truth is that you can never ever go back to that version of you, because even if you did go back to the version of you, you wouldn't like her. You have this beautiful, marvelous mind that is extremely creative, and it creates this fantasy in your mind that when you were living that way, your life was perfect and ideal. But if you pause and think about it and pay attention to the memories that have been suppressed, that remind you that life wasn't great then. It's just you looking back at it in comparison to how you feel right now, a lot of different negative ways, perhaps, is when that part of your life was or felt the best. And in some cases, for many of you, maybe most of you, there was a time in your life when everything was great and you loved that version of yourself. But that version of yourself was so young and naive. And this is the reason why you might be finding yourself struggling and suffering right now, because you are no longer that naive person that you once was. You are now awakening, spiritual awakening, and you're learning the truth, and you would much rather go back to the older ways before you make the decision unconsciously to take the red pill over the blue or the blue over the red, whatever decision you made, right? Speaking of the Matrix. And now you much rather go back to the way where forget it, forget all of this, forget all the truths, and let's pretend it doesn't exist. And you can no longer pretend, because once you know something, you can't unknow it. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. You cannot put it back in the box. Once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't put it back in there. It becomes practically impossible. So, in this process of becoming the woman that you were meant to become, the human that you're meant to become, you got distracted with everything that you have been told is meant to be your life, how you're meant to live your life, how you're meant to climb all these different steps in order for you to live a life that would be considered a success. And all of these things have been given to you throughout your life from every form of communication, the verbal, the nonverbal, the visual, the physical as well. You learned and created some sort of a fantasy of what your life is going to be when you grow up, or is meant to be, or it's supposed to be. And now that you've grown up, the reality is different from what you fantasized about. So as you're going through all these steps, you're just following your default programming. It's not something that you're fully aware of, as most of us are not aware of these things until we become aware, and until we know and get to know those parts of ourselves and those programs that we have received, which primarily they're all similar with all of us. Is just a few changes of words that we use to describe a certain experience, but at the root, it the experience is primarily the same. And you have started to be someone for everyone, and you started to, I'll call it the masquerade, where you're putting on a mask unconsciously because your program dictates that you must fit in, you must be accepted, you must be liked, you must be loved by everyone, and you must please and make everyone around you happy, right? All right. So, in order for that to happen, you must be this version of you for this person, for that person, for this person, for that, for every single human being that you know, you are a different version for them. And on top of that, every person that is in your life, they see a different version of you. Even if you were the same version for everyone, because you're in a place where you got your shit together, you know who you are, and you're living your life authentically and unapologetically. Regardless, there's going to be people who will have their own assumptions and interpretations, and in the ways that they see who you are based on who they are. Because see, people don't see you as you are, they see you as they are. You don't see people as they are, you see them as you are. So if you want to change your viewpoint on people in your life, you got to change you. You cannot change them. It's similar to um kind of like how we want to change all of our being. We want to change everything about ourselves on one level or another, and it becomes really hard to even take those steps towards change, because what you're really asking of yourself is for those 60 trillion cells to change their outfit based on the outfit that one of your cells has decided it wants to wear. So just for the sheer visual effect, those just picture these 60 or 6 trillion cells in your body. And all of them are dressed in, let's say, hot pink. All of them are hot pink, and it's a hot pink party. One of them decides it's time to change. I want to wear purple now. And it'll be any shade of purple that comes to mind. I want to wear purple now. Now you see this one cell standing in front of these trillion other cells. It's one versus however many trillion. Who's going to win, right? It's going to be those trillions and trillions of cells versus one, because it's easier to stay the same than it is to change. But when this one cell is strong enough, it can convince all the other cells to change and conform within you. Now, it does come down to the mindset and beliefs that you're carrying. So if you believe something to be worthy of change, you will change. And if you believe it to be true, it will be true. So I'll give you a little bit of a different example that is not so lighthearted. A lot of the things I talk about and say are lighthearted, but it's important to talk about things that are not so lighthearted, that are dark in many ways. So did you know that when cancer starts with one cell, takes one cell to convince all the other cells that now we have cancer. And then those cells will not fight. They believe this one cell, but it is connected to your ability to believe something and know something, and it is connected to your emotional state as well. And I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have already heard that there are numerous cases of people essentially curing their cancer because it came down to not believing that they have it. That's the simplest way how I can describe it. But of course, it's not simple in that way, because most of them took this uncomfortable road to healing and growing as a spirit, and changing their belief systems, changing their stories, their programming that dictate one thing up until the point of their awakening and their decision to, now I'm going to do what it takes to rewrite all of this garbage, because this garbage is not my garbage. It's things that I collected and said yes to unconsciously throughout my life. And now I'm here discovering who I am, why I am. And as a person gets to do that, they're changing their DNA. They're not only changing their mindset, but they're changing their DNA. They're changing their personality. They're changing their reality, because your personality or your reality is based on your personality, on your belief systems, on what makes you you. And this is why today's topic is, who the hell are you? Let's find out. Screw the fake you, unleash the real one already. The way I'll put it is this. If you're happy with where you are, great. Keep going, keep living it. But if you're not happy where you are, then it's time to do what it takes to break free from your programming, which is rooted in so many different things. It's your upbringing. It's even the things that you listen to and watch up until now. It's the things that you read or don't read. It's the things that you watch and consume on social media or don't watch and consume on social media. It's everything that you put into your body. It's even what you eat and what you don't eat. Everything. It's literally your lifestyle. And if you're not happy with your life, we're not happy with who you are today or how you feel about yourself or your life today, that does not mean things can't or won't change. It just means you got to do a little bit of work, a lot of uncovering, digging up, understanding it, and rewriting it in the way that heals, in a way that sticks, in a way that is permanent and non temporary. And I've done a lot of different approaches where there was a lot of, the best way I'll describe it, there's a really big difference. What I've noticed is between free help and paid help. Free help is free for a reason, and paid help is paid for a reason. The free one is a temporary fix. It is not meant to solve the actual problem. It is meant to give you a band-aid fix. That's what free help is. And paid help, depending on what area of your life that you are ready to be helped in and work on, it could literally be anything. Maybe you want to hire a personal trainer and you're ready to get that part of your life and your lifestyle in shape. And then you got to go and find that personal trainer that is perfect and ideal for you. And make sure you check them and you vet them that they're actually perfect and ideal for you. And not just you read the bio and description and that's it. You got to know what you're signing yourself up for because it's an investment. And if it's a different part of your life, then you go and you get that paid help because it will make the difference. It's scratching the surface, itching the itch versus getting to the roots and essentially curing and fixing whatever it is that you are dealing with, that you need that fixing with. So, hey Debbie, hey Lisa, how are you doing, beautifuls? Hope your Thursday is amazing. Here is, I'll just give you a couple of different steps of what you can take in order for you to start tapping into who you are and understanding who you are and uncovering who you are. I'm not going to go through the same things that we already talked about on the podcast yesterday. That's why the podcast is there, so you can go and you can listen to it and you can take notes, and it's literally like a mastermind where or um master class where you can learn things and then apply what you learn. Okay, so the first thing I would say is one thing that we talk about is curiosity. This is what Empathy Unicorn Academy, one of our core values is when it comes to everything that we create, everything that we put forth that comes through Empathy Unicorn Academy. And that is curiosity. But curiosity in the way of not just what are you curious about, it's kind of like curiosity and passions, because curiosities lead into passions. And we all have more than one passion, but we do share usually just one passion with the world if we so choose. But other passions we share with ourselves and those who are close to us. But when it comes to curiosities and passions, really the one question that I want you to ask yourself, and this is where get that piece of paper, write things down. Maybe you have notes on your phone, write these things down. But I want you to ask yourself this one question. What sets your soul on fire? What ignites that fire within you that you just love and can obsess over? That something that you can maybe do or talk about for days on end, day in, day out. What is it? Think about the moments. And if you're struggling, right, because some of you might be struggling with uncovering what those things are, the past is there that for us to learn from. It's there for us to understand ourselves right now and see, is this who I truly am? Is this who I want to continue being or not? Yes or no? And if you're not sure, put it on the maybe list. But looking to the past, think about what were the moments that you have been through, gone through, experienced, things that you have done that made you feel alive, that made you feel unstoppable, that made you feel fully, truly, and authentically you. Maybe even moments where you didn't even give a shit about what anybody said or thought about you. You were just so into you, into who you were, into who you were being, into what you were doing. Think about what you were doing in that moment. Maybe even who you were in that moment. And maybe even when you were in that state of flow where you maybe even forgot that there was a phone or that there was social media or that there was Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever form of content that you watch and consume, those distractions that help us to not feel bored, even though there's magic in the boredom as well. So that's the one question I would want you to ask yourself. Another question is a little bit of a different question, and that is, what lies have you been telling yourself? What have been what have you been lying to yourself about? Lies such as, and they are lies even though we don't feel like they are, but lies such as, I'm not good enough, it's too late for me, I'm not ready, I can't, I'm not capable, or I'll do that tomorrow. Another beautiful lie that we tell ourselves. And it it's really just a reminder to call yourself out on all of these BS stories that we unconsciously think and believe that they are the truth, that they are facts, but in fact, they are not facts. They are fears, disguise themselves as facts, as the truth. And actually, one great way how you can work through quite a few of these is Anna and I were hosting a free workshop next Friday, the 24th of January, 2025. So, and it's a free workshop. I have an event, a page created that's already shared on my page. If you're in the group, you'll see it in the group as well. I even shared the actual post on my personal page as well. So it's easy for you to find the link and go register for the workshop. It's going to be a great one. It's a powerful one. We're in the process of putting all the nitty-gritty pieces together of the workshop. But quite a few of these things are going to be in the workshop that we're talking about in a way that you're going to walk away with having done something. That's the purpose and the goal of the workshop, is to actually do something and take action. Because listening and learning things and picking up knowledge is great, but it means jack shit if you're not applying what you're learning. I've done that for years, and I use all of these lies for myself, with myself, that I got tired of lying to myself and I decided no more. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. If I'm not gonna do it, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do it. So I'm just not gonna do it. No means no, yes means yes, and there's no maybe. It's keep or get rid of. And it's simple because the maybe pile is confusing and it's it causes misalignment. So whether you're cleaning out your physical space or your mental space, the maybe pile temporarily might feel good, but essentially it doesn't, because it is just confusion. It's indecisiveness. Because decision means you cut away from any other possibility, which means yes or no. That's it. The next thing that you can do is admit to yourself, what are you actually afraid of? When it comes to you being your true authentic self, and you living to your values, knowing your personality and your personality traits that you have and that you want, your quirks that you have that you want, all these different things that make you you that we talked about on the podcast that you probably have already spent time identifying. And if not, you can go check it out in the group and identify them. But all these things that make you you, that you're hiding away from people around you and from yourself. I want you to take a few minutes to admit to yourself, what are you really afraid of? Really, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of being found out? What is the thing you secretly want, but are too scared to say out loud or to do out loud? What is that dream, that desire that you have that gives you chills, but also makes you think, who the hell am I to even want that? What are those things that you think about as you drift off to bed? And first things that you think about in the morning. Those will be very powerful indicators as to who you are versus who you're being right now. And who you are means who you truly are, which will bring you closer to who you truly desire to be and who you are meant to be. But who you're being, more often than not, it can be very limiting because there's a lot of baggage that you're carrying, which is your stories, your assumptions, your interpretations, your thoughts, your default programming. Now, the last one is because we're talking about the masquerades, the masks. When you take that mask off, let's do it in this way because you probably might consider yourself a chameleon. There was a moment in time in my life where I realized, like, oh, I'm a chameleon. I'm this person for this person. I'm this for that. Chameleons are great, but that's exhausting. Very exhausting because you're just changing yourself for everyone. So if you see yourself as a chameleon and you're wearing this mask for this person, this mask for that person, I want you to think of one person. And you can do this exercise later on for yourself with yourself. For now, think of one person that you're wearing a mask for, because you're not wearing that mask for yourself. You're wearing a mask for them because you're trying to be someone for them. And in return, part of it might feel rewarding because you feel like they are accepting you, but that does not really show them who you truly are. So that mask that you wear for that person, I want you to now visualize yourself taking that mask off as you're looking that person right in the eyes, and you take that mask off and you let them see who you truly, authentically are. So when you strip away the labels, the expectations, and the shoulds, and have to, and need to, and must be, and must do, what's left? What's left? What do you also believe in? What do you stand for? What makes you you? What makes you stand out from the crowd? And the reason why I wanted to bring that up or bring that out is because you're meant to be you. You're not meant to be anyone else. And what makes you you, what makes you stand out from the crowd is precisely what I refer to as the unicorn. And it can feel uncomfortable initially. It makes me even think like, you know how the ugly duckling story? How he was not accepted by his family because he was different. And if you take that story and you turn that into there's a herd of horses, and there's horses and um, what do you call them? I guess calves or baby horses. Let's call them baby horses. And then there is the little you who is the unicorn. It has a horn, and everybody else doesn't have a horn around you. So as you're growing up, little by little, you start filing away at that horn so that way you can fit in with everyone around you. So you can be accepted and feel safe, feel loved, feel seen, feel validated because uh, you're with the herd. But now, as an adult, you want that horn back. You want that true, authentic you back. But yet, you keep filing away at that horn unconsciously. So, what I'm trying to get you to do and uncover is what are all these different ways that you're filing away your horn, that you're not allowing yourself to be you, that it's time to stop doing and allow that horn to grow, because what is going to happen is that this herd of horses that's around you right now is going to be replaced by a herd of unicorns where you will be accepted. But the truth is that there's a transition between the two. And this is what most of you were or perhaps are scared of. And the transition is that as you're changing and as your horn is growing, you're not going to be neither here or there. You're going to be alone because you're meant to be alone so you can really get to know yourself. And you're meant to learn to not feel lonely when you are alone. There's a difference between the two. And as that transition happens, as your spirit grows and evolves and heals, you will notice that even though you are alone most of the time, your new tribe will start to appear one by one, one by one. And you are able to be your true authentic self with that tribe, where you are you and they are them, and you allow each other to be your own true selves, even if you don't agree, because you're not meant to agree and you're not meant to be happy and accepting of everything that everyone does, because you have your own expectations, you have your own beliefs, you have your own views, you have your own perceptions, and you can share yours, and they're meant to share theirs, and you're meant to learn from each other, but not become each other. Just learn and take away what you meant to take away from each other, and that's it. You move on, they move on. Good, we're good, right? So that's all that I wanted to really share uh, today and talk about this. I would love to see what is your, or hear and see in the comments, what is your biggest takeaway from today's podcast? What did you learn that was new and different, that maybe connected some dots for you, was an aha moment? What is your takeaway? What are you walking away with? If you could write one thing in your notebook after everything has been said and done today, what is it? Share that with me in the comments, and then followed by what are you going to do with it? What action are you going to take that is connected to your takeaway? And take that action today, not tomorrow. Stop putting things off for tomorrow, because that will become your habit of I'll do it later, which means I'll do it never, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, and you don't do it tomorrow. Because tomorrow does not actually come. Tomorrow becomes today. So if you change the language of I'm going to do this today, I'm going to do this today, and you actually do it today, you're going to notice your life change and transform in ways that you haven't even thought of yet. And you'll notice how even the simple thoughts and actions of actually following through on what you say you're going to do will change you as a human. So, um, oh, Debbie says, thank you, it's breaking up, so I'll replay. Hopefully, replay won't be breaking up. Uh, and if it is internet, I'll blame the internet. Or I'll blame Zoom. I'll blame someone. Because I only have so much control over this, even though I don't encourage anyone blaming anyone or anything, but certain things are out of control, at least right now in this moment. But what is in control is I can look into the connections and different things and see how I can make sure that the connection is actually, yeah, because Liz said connection issues, that how the connection issues are actually better, and do what I can so I can entirely shift the blame on the tech and the devices. But other than that, hope you ladies have an amazing the rest of your day. I'll probably be seeing some of you today for our call, or I'll see the rest of you next week for another one of these Get Your Shit Together weekly live guidance with myself, Yana Kasperczak, where I'll go live on my personal page at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time for topics that will help you to get your shit together. Really, is how I'll summarize it. And that's it. Have an amazing rest of your day and week or weekend. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being on here. Bye.